Hey, y'all, watch this. Today we're gonna cook bacon. Yay! So here, hold my beer. Now, before we can start, we got to know what we're gonna do with the bacon. Of course, we're gonna eat it, but how are we gonna eat it? Typically, we just eat it for breakfast. That's the normal way. But sometimes you use it as a condiment, or and put it like on salad, or maybe even put it on a deviled egg or something like that, or on some extra piece on some redneck sushi that gets the extra 50 cents. So a lot depends on the first step is cutting it up. And depending on what you're going to do with it, how you're going to eat it, determines how you're going to cut it up. Now, if you were going to cut it up for like a redneck sushi, you'd probably cut it up into 6 pieces, which is cut it in half and then cut each half in thirds. If you're going to put it on a salad, maybe cut it in half, cut it in half, cut each half in half to get eighths. Now, there was a burger place selling quarter-pound hamburgers, and another burger place decided to make a third-pound hamburgers at the same price and take the market from them because they're selling bigger burgers. But a third of a pound, a lot of Americans thought was less than a quarter of a pound, since the quarter of a pound had a 4 and the third of a pound only had a 3. Some other people might be a little behind on the math, so they can watch this video again and take notes if they're having trouble keeping up with the math, fractions and all, So if you want, put it on a salad, cut it in half, cut the half in half, and then cut them pieces in half again to make 8, so that there's 8 pieces per whole thing. Now, if you're just going to put it on top of something like as a garnish, you cut it in half, and then you cut it in thirds, each half in thirds. But today we're going to cook it like it was breakfast, and we're going to eat it for food. So it's a food item all on its own. So for that, a lot of people say flopping it around in the pan's a pain, and it takes time, and it only makes a little bit. So the Chef Bago way is to do it the quickest, easiest way that don't take time or effort. So for food, if you cut it in half, it's not going to flop around in the pan as easy. And if you leave it whole, it's not going to flop around in the pan as easy. But it turns out, if you cut it into thirds, 3 pieces, 1, 2 cuts, there's a third, there's a third, there's a third. And then you just, I put some throwaway oil in the fry pan over here, just a little bit so it don't stick. Then you just throw it in the fry pan. You can leave it all stuck together like that. It'll come unglopped in its own time. So that's all you do to it. Throw it in the pan. Then you bring it over here to the stove. You put it on the stove, low heat, like maybe a third or a quarter. And the throwaway oil in there, I use sunflower, and it's just so that it don't stick to the pan before it starts rendering its own oils. So we're starting. Now we're cooking with electricity. Gas would be a little quicker and maybe burning and all, but slow cooking is best for this. And what we'll do now is just wait and have a beer. Yeah, the electric stove's finally warmed up to the point where it's starting to cook. Now, this house is made out of cinder blocks. So it's more dangerous to have a gas stove inside, because if a gas leak happened in a cinder block house and it all went kaboom, that could really hurt your walls and everything. Of course, on a regular house, it'd do the same. So for inside the cinder block house, I picked the gas stove or the electric stove because it won't ruin the house if there's an accident. Now, for a gas stove, which would be really nice to have, you can fix up your porch to be a gas stove. Put like sheet metal on the walls and all to keep the wind out and all. But you got much better ventilation out there for the gas, so there's less accumulation of gas, less chance of a kaboom. And if there is a kaboom, it's just going to push the sheet metal off the walls and not really cause much damage. You just screw them back on, you're fixed. So inside, I used the electric stove, and you can see it's just starting to cook. It took Took a while to get up to temperature, but then you just push it around to start unglopping it. And you see how nice it unglops once it warms up? As it gets warm, it just falls apart all on its own. You really don't have to do much, which is, of course, the Chef Bago way, is to got her done without having to do much. So now it's actually starting to cook. So we'll use the whole fry pan, get the whole fry pan in gear. So all that surface area is now transferring the heat into the bacon. So we've actually officially begun. So let's go back to the beer and let the heat do its job. All right, now the food started cooking and it's ready for us to play with it again. So we're going to play with our food again. Now you can see that the ones on the top are getting jealous of the ones on the bottom of how yummy they're getting as they cook. So they want to get yummy too. So what you do is you start flopping them around so that the ones on the top get to be as yummy as the ones on the bottom. So you just, oops, did I flip them out? I hope not. Don't want to do that. A little too ambitious playing with the food there. But yeah, you just move them around and you can see how they come all unglopped as they cook. So now they're all should be getting yummy together. And just spread it out so you got all the heat coming up through everybody. And they're starting to get yummy. Look at how it's browning up there. All right, so we played with the food for a while. Now it's time to, I guess, go back to the beer. Nothing we can do until they're ready to get played with again. Yeah, you can see it's starting to render pretty good, especially the ones there on the bottom. These few on the top are still kind of new to the mix. But yeah, cutting it in thirds, they all flop around real good together again. And you want to cook it on low heat because they cook more evenly and it doesn't stick them to the bottom of the pan as much. But you can see they are sticking to the bottom of the pan some. So I probably ought to play with them a little more frequently, you know, and not leave them be for so long. But the more oil they render, the easier it'll be to play with them. But yeah, you just flop them around. Yeah, they're coming along right along. So we'll probably play with the food a little bit more frequently so they don't stick to the pan. And yeah, they're still not quite ready to eat. Some people like to eat them like that. I don't blame them. My dad used to like them like that. He'd say, hey, they're done now, let's eat. I think it was just because he wanted to eat all the bacon before anyone got to them, because everyone else said, they're not done yet, I'll wait. And then by the time they were done to everybody else's liking, Dad ate them all. So yeah, let's just keep letting them cook and render their juices. And, we'll get back to the beer and play with them again later. Yeah, if you like flobbery bacon, now this here's done. You know, oh boy, I'm playing with it more often. It's still sticking to the pan, so I should either turn down the heat or play with it more often. I'll choose turning down the heat, because playing with the food like this is work if you're a chef. It's fun if you love bacon. So yeah, you unstick it from the pan, you flop it around. It's rendering its oils pretty good. Now those oils in there, a lot of people like to make gravy out of it, to make biscuits and gravy. And Chef Bago don't like to throw stuff away, but Chef Bago's got this thing with uric acid. And you know how diabetes, you got type A and type B. And uric acid, there's two types of problems that you get from it. One is the uric acid crystals in your joints called gout that a lot of people don't enjoy. I'm glad that's not me, but I got the different type of uric acid problem, which causes your veins to swell up. And then that causes the whole part to swell up. It could be an ankle, could be a knee, could be a hip, could be your neck. And that just hurts like hell. And so you don't want to eat the stuff that causes a buildup of uric acid. And also, if you have the uric acid swelling up part in your head, that gives you the migraine headache. And the people that wake up all miserable in the morning and need a coffee to feel better, got a headache until they get their morning coffee. The coffee opens up the vessels and relieves the swelling. And what happens is they probably still got uric acid in their system from digesting dinner, and they got their headache and don't feel good until they get their morning coffee that relieves the symptoms. And then by the time the coffee wears off, they've digested their uric acid out of their system, and everything's fine. And I think my migraine headaches too are from the uric acid just affecting your head rather than affecting a knee or an ankle or a hip or something like that. So I don't use this oil that renders out, because that's the part that causes the problems with the uric acid. But yeah, we'll play with it a bit more. A few of the pieces are a little flobbery for our liking here, so we're just going to cook it, and you see how it's stuck to the pan, so we got to keep playing with it a little more often. But rather than make biscuits and gravy out of that juice, I don't, because of uric acid problems. And other people, if they're getting real bad headaches in the morning after eating stuff, it's probably the uric acid from the results from digesting dinner. That's one of the steps near the end of digesting all your food, and that causes you probably to want coffee in the morning. So I'm not going to make biscuits and gravy out of that juice, even though you can. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. A few pieces are a little flobbery, or others look perfect. So just keep cooking them on low heat, and they might even be done next time it's time to play with them. Yeah, I think they'll be done next time it's done to play with them, because even them flobberier ones are good and done enough for me. Well, I can't eat the flobbery ones, to be honest with you, because of the uric acid. But there they are. It's time to get back to the beer. They're almost done.
Excellent.
Okay, it's cooking real good now. We'll just play with it one more time to get the little rarer ones down there. Now, since this is an electrical stove, it took a while to warm up. It'll also take a while to cool off. So we'll turn the electricity off to it, but you can see it's still hot. And we'll just let it finish cooking with the residual heat left from the burner from the electric stove. Now, if you had a gas stove, it'd be done. You turn it off. It's not hot anymore. But this electric stove, we might as well use up that extra heat that's stored up in the burner. Finish cooking it and try to get the rawest, flobberiest ones down there again in contact with the bottom of the pan. And once that's done cooking with the residual heat, it'll be ready to take out of the fry pan. Yeah, it's all ready to come out of the fry pan now, and I only had to play with it a few seconds every stir. If I wasn't talking so much, it would have just been flop it around a bit and go. It only been a few seconds every time I played with it. So it only taken like a minute or two altogether to actually play with the food while you're cooking it. But now it's ready to come out of the fry pan. And a lot of people, when they take bacon out of the fry pan, they put it on a plate with some paper towel underneath, and that just makes a whole mess and sticks paper towel to your bacon and all that. So I don't do that. I got another process where you just take the bacon out with your slotted spatula. Look at it drip all that juices. Let it drip. Then you just set it on a plate that won't spill the juices all over the countertop, or in this case the stovetop. Scoop up some more. Drip the juices out. Put it on the plate. And scoop up another batch. Let the juices drip out. Oh, they fell off. Okay. Well, I hope they're not so soppy with the oil. But yeah, you got the bacon in there done good. And this is like for breakfast bacon, where you can just eat it. And it only took a little bit of actual chefing time of stirring it so it didn't stick to the pan. But now it's still hot and all, so There's not much more in there. I guess the chef gets these pieces. Yeah, so there it is. And we'll come back to it in a bit as it cools off because it's not quite ready to eat yet, although you can start grabbing a piece here and there if your fingers don't mind the heat. But yeah, we'll come back in a bit and do the last step. All right, it's had a time to cool off and drain a bit, but you can see it's still kind of moist there. But now you just move it over to the paper towel after it's cooled off and drained more. It's still warm. And that paper towel will suck the juice, the oils out of it and make it a little better. But yeah, you can see all them crispy little pieces. And then this will be, you can pat it down with another paper towel if you want to get more of that oil off of it, but that's fine just like that. And looky there, I got her done in less than a 6-pack. Now that's a good video worth sharing.